Bam, all right. Dude, I'm becoming a professional at this, man. I got it. We're on IG Live again. So, yeah.
Good stuff, bro. All right, Lemonheads. We had a little technical difficulty, but we fixed it real quick. Thank you to my boy Larry Fresh over here. Of course, we're joined by Xavi, XG La Voz, and we're welcoming Favian Renkel. What's up, Favian? How you doing, bro?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me. I mean, it's a pleasure of mine to be on the show, and yeah, I mean, it's not the best day to be talking about Inter Miami, but it was still a great showing, and I think all of us have some good takeaways at least from that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Before we get started, man, I just want to remind everybody that this is the new format. We're doing team or sports specific podcast from now on moving forward. So this is the Vice City FC podcast where we're talking strictly soccer. This is season 2, episode 3. Regardless of what it says on your screen, it is episode 3. All good. But welcome everybody. So yeah, man, let's kick it off. Like you mentioned, Favian, Inter Miami today played their third.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Gus. Here, but we have a guest here. We got to give him his proper.
True
here.
That. My bad.
The floor is yours, Fabian. There, talk about I know I mentioned that you do work for SBI Soccer. You're part of the North American Soccer Reporters, Area Sportsnet, I believe it is.
Yeah, so I was a creative director for Area Sportsnet for about 2 years, I would say. I got kind of like my first chance with them to cover the whole league and to kind of really imprint my style and imprint what I wanted to do to grow soccer. So, yeah, big shout out to Area Sportsnet because they gave me that opportunity. And then, yeah, I mean, I do write. I write for Forbes as well. I write for their betting side. So if you looked up maybe Forbes betting Inter Miami stuff, that was definitely my stuff. So
Nice.
That's where I got really accustomed to the team and the way they play and Tata Martino style. And yeah, I mean, it's a fun ride to cover them in Leagues Cup and throughout the season. And I got to meet Javi out in Miami, so that was really nice. He turned me around and said, "Hey, your big old head is in my picture," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't mean it, dude." So no, it was a good time, and it's been a pleasure, covering as a journalist the MLS League last 2 years.
Awesome, man, awesome. And you're based out. You said you're outside of San Francisco.
Yeah.
So wait, let's get to know Fabian here a little bit. What's obviously you cover you have to cover Inter Miami. That's a given. That's got to be a thing. But what's your team? Is that also your squad here, or?
So I started off covering the San Jose Earthquakes because it was my hometown club, right? It was
okay.
I used to have a podcast, or I used to be on a podcast called Tectonic Takes. It still runs now, but I'm not on that show as much as I want to be.
What a great name.
Yeah, right.
Wait.
It is.
Tectonic Takes.
Tectonic Takes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's way better than ours.
They talk about the earthquakes every week in and week out, really. And I kind of got my first start there. I was a podcaster. That was something where I felt really strongly about. And then I kind of got my big break when Matias Almeida would speak in Spanish, because we had Almeida in the past, and not a lot of journalists in the area spoke Spanish. So
really,
I was able to, yeah, right.
Dang.
I think about it all the time, to be honest. There's not really many bilingual reporters in the industry or journalists in the industry. So shout out to all the bilingual reporters. I know I got one next to me, so it's hard to find, So I got really lucky. The Quakes invited me to their press conferences, and I got to ask questions to Matias Almeida in Spanish. And then he instantly knew that I was Uruguayan because of the accent I had. And he kind of felt a little connection. He would always give me a little more when I would ask. So that was my little big break there. And then when Messi came into the league, I was shocked. I was like, if no one's going to cover this, I'll just tweet it. If they'll do this, I'll just tweet it. So I got a pretty big break with all the, influx of Messi followers. And I was doing a lot of Messi content when he first came here. Like, I don't know if you guys saw maybe the 10 records that Messi could break on Twitter. And it was like talking about free kick goals and things like that, and
Huh.
and MLS records, right? And I got a lot of slack for that, but hey, who knows, right? It's still possible that he can. I think the free kick goal one is actually the one where I could possibly see him beating, or the away goals. I don't think it's not anything that's too far out. I don't remember it, but it's those two were like, oh, he probably could. But, those little things, and then that's how I got to know the Miami kind of fan base, and then I got to do all the forwards betting. But yeah, I would say my bread and butter for MLS is translating Spanish speakers in a way that Americans or English speakers can understand. So
nice.
That's kind of what I do for all the teams around the league nowadays too.
Dude,
And
you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot,
man.
Because that
we should have done the show in Spanish.
Right? We could have. So.
Oh man, see, because over here you'd be kind of SOL, man. Everybody speaks Spanish over here.
I'm gonna move to San Francisco.
Yeah,
my big breakaway.
What's the funniest thing is, like, in Miami, where I was there for the Suarez press conference, and everything was in Spanish, and I'm just like, geez, I'm like, this is wild. Like, I was like, okay, I guess I'm home. Let me go get some messy pizza real quick, and some,
I saw that.
Los Gauchitos, like, there's my Uruguayan family out here, like, let's go. But yeah, I was shocked that every single thing was in Spanish, and I was
100%. It's you're definitely the minority here if you're the white guy, down here trying to cover Messi.
Hey.
I'm just saying, if you're the white guy who doesn't speak Spanish and you're down here, and it's a hard sell. But I mean,
the white guys here speak Spanish too, dude. Most of them speak Spanish.
No, of course. Even like
if they're from Miami
and everybody,
Well, the funniest thing that always reminds, I was watching the Apple TV Messi documentary when he comes to America, and shout out to Michelle Kaufman. I got to meet her too, but she talks to the reporter, and she's like, "You got to know Spanish on this beat," and that always stuck in my mind because it's so true. Like, it's gonna be a shock when Busquets did pretty good when he was talking to the media on media day. But like when it's All-Star game, Suarez speaks English actually, but like Messi's probably gonna have to speak English because all the big MLS reporters are gonna be there, and not a lot of them speak Spanish.
Nah,
sucks to be them.
Yeah, it sucks to be them. Homeboy has never. Dude, he doesn't speak English. Like, he just will not. Like, he won't do any of the stuff. Like, they'll ask him. He's just like, nah, I'm not interested. It's Messi, dude. The guy does whatever he wants, too. I mean, come on.
Well,
like
half of the abuelitos in Miami, bro. They just refuse to speak English.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you.
It was rumored that his wife spoke English a little while ago. Like, I heard something about that. So if his wife is speaking English, at least on camera or something, that definitely means that Messi knows a little bit, right? You would think.
I'm sure. Look, my dad, RIP, the guy didn't speak a lick of English, all right, but he would do English crossword puzzles every single day. Those like, I couldn't finish a puzzle. The guy did one every day his whole life. Okay, so he understood. He definitely understood, but never communicated it. It's and I don't expect Messi to do the same.
Right.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys again for having me on. It's a pleasure. This is like, it's something in my career that I need to do. Come on, Lemon City,
Yeah,
it's
bro.
Rite of passage.
And there's even another connection because you covered San Jose Earthquakes. They have Paul Marie. He's an FIU guy. The three of us are FIU grads. So there's that connection right there, man.
Nice guy too.
Yeah. Actually, he's really cool. I've DM'd him and I was like, yo, hey man, pause up, bro. Keep it doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And he's like, he liked it.
Yeah. He's gonna have a big role this year. He's gonna be a starter probably.
Yeah. I'm hoping for it. But before we dive into the Inter Miami, I'm assuming Niners fan as well.
Yeah. So I have this not hate towards football, but it's more like a jealousy type towards this football because I see how much fanfare the Niners get out here, and I'm just like, maybe 10% of you guys want to go to a Quakes game. Like, you guys even know what a cover 3 is? Like, do you really like football? Or do you like Kyle Juszczyk's wife? Like, do you really like football? Tell me what a 4-3 bear is. Like, come on, like, so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, so
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, well, I mean, I played football in high school, so I don't know. I just find it so shocking how much people like football when they don't really know football, or like to me the the prices for a ticket to go to a Niners game, like the conference final was, I think like maybe second story was $500 list. So from the Niners themselves, you're paying $500, and it's just like, do you even see the lines on the field? Like,
have you seen the Inter Miami prices though?
Yeah,
but I mean,
it's not far
off.
You're not seeing Brock Purdy, right? So it's a little different. I don't know. So at my work, I always get like people saying, no one likes soccer, football is king, So it's like, that's why I always have this like, not hatred towards football, but it's just like, isn't that cool?
Bro, it's good marketing, man. That's all it is, bro. They've just figured out the formula.
What I always say is that the way you make football or soccer bigger in America is fantasy soccer and betting. You 100% have to get the American fan when money's involved, because a lot of people don't really care about football. They care about fantasy football and they care about their bets.
Interesting.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm not a good gambler. I'm a pretty lousy one. So I mean, I know what you're saying. I definitely think that's the path to getting people on there, but I don't know. I'm not the guy to talk about it. So, but hey,
Stop, Cafecito.
Nice. Oh wait, Don Cafecito's on. Hey, let's talk about the game here. Let's dive into this. Let's really. Inter Miami played Al-Hilal today. It was kind of weird watching a big time soccer game at 1 p.m. over here, and for you it was like what 10 in the morning.
Yeah, it was at 10, so it was something that was good. So
a little morning soccer for you, a little afternoon footy for us, and we'll dive into the game here. But it ended up 4-3. Inter Miami was down 3-1 at half. They came back, couple of quick strikes. There's a lot to dissect and peel back here on the game here, but let's start at the beginning here. Let's actually go back to the first couple of preseason games here. They're rolling into this game this week. 0-1-1. They had one draw, 0-0 draw to El Salvador, little head scratcher there, and then the 1-0 loss to FC Dallas. Kind of came into this game hoping to see a little more, the gluing of the team, the gelling of the team, and seeing who's gonna step up, because we're also it's 3 games in on this big giant world tour. And now all of a sudden we still haven't had a goal. You know what I mean? So the bar was really low going into this game. But what did you guys take out of the game here for just on going into the game?
Go ahead, Fabian.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the game. First things first. What I saw about the game is beautiful camera angles. My God, I was thinking the whole time, what a stadium. I mean,
yes, I know what you're talking about. That 4K stuff. Yeah.
The drones, going in and out of the field when they scored, in the fans, and I was like, how much does it cost to have a drone? Like, let's get that in every MLS stadium. Like, what's going on? Like, you get extra Messi content, and all you need to do is someone that flies a drone. Come on, let's get it done, right? So, and then the camera angle on the penalty too. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a penalty like that in MLS, where it almost looks like you're right behind the player. So it was a great presentation. I thought, I really thought they like dwarfed us in terms of production, and I was just like, yeah, Apple TV, you need to kind of look at this and what's going on, So I know there's costs in these things, but man, if Apple TV had that type of production every single game, or at least in Miami, that would be something else.
They definitely have the money for it,
Right?
I mean, they do, but Apple's trying to make money. Whereas I don't think Saudi Arabia is really trying to make money. They're just trying to
earn it as quickly as possible.
Trying to throw as much money into it as possible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the game overall, I thought it was a team that really wanted to win to send a message versus a team that didn't really care until the second half. So,
yeah,
I felt like when Messi came off, they were all asleep, and then they scored the last goal, right? So, Callender didn't have the best game, to be honest. He could have had a better game. Another other players I didn't think have a great game was Julian Gressel, and to be honest, I don't think Gressel's had a good game yet, and I don't think he had a good game in Columbus. So
really,
he had a good game, right? I mean, he didn't really make a big like contribution to that winning team. So it was Farsi kind of going in and taking over his role too. So it was something that was just like, I don't know. I need to see a little more out of Gressel. Deliver a good ball, or else it's like, I mean, one of the biggest free agents of this offseason, and I don't really see it yet. So, I mean, Suarez even gets pretty mad at Gressel often. So it's interesting to see.
Okay, I can see that. I was definitely a little disappointed in Gress. I haven't seen what it was that the hype about him either, but I'm also focused a little more on the Suarez and Messi and what they're doing. But yeah, I feel you. I think it was definitely a team that was not interested in being there to start. Then all of a sudden they turned it on, and you start seeing these little flashes of it. But I gotta ask you the question everybody wants to know, like the serious thing is, what did you think about these uniforms? These new Inter Miami kits.
I thought they were better than the leaks because they're an actual pink now that is like a nice pink.
Okay.
The leaks were like an orange pink, so it was like yeah, they were kind of yeah. So I actually kind of like the pink that they use now. I believe it's the same pink, if I'm not mistaken. Or it's closer to it, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Those collared pink jerseys are iconic now. I mean, they're actually like I think they were part of Vogue's like top 10 items of the year. So it's like, how do you get rid of that? Like, in my opinion, you're in Miami, you do a last minute switch to switch up La Noche and not the pink jersey, or you keep a third jersey on or something, because there's iconic kits, and only having half of the year of that pink iconic kit, I think it's kind of a shame. They should at least have it for another year and a half, because you go all around the world, there's so many fakes of that jersey, and there's so many people wearing that jersey that it's like, it's kind of in my opinion, kind of a shame that they got rid of them so fast.
That kind of builds a little mystique to it, Again, Inter Miami's marketing team and how they're like pushing everything. I hated the jersey, the leaks. And I know Gus agrees with me. We hate that whole center crest thing that they're doing with the logo. Just
terrible.
I'm not a fan of it. Just like the USA kits, not a fan of it. But seeing it on the field, seeing it on the players, I was like, all right, it looks okay.
Still terrible.
I thought it looked better than expected. And I just know I can't pull it off. I got the collared one from last season. And I think, they said it. They're like, oh, this is in the little promo video that they released today. Like, oh, this is the most iconic jersey. Where with that, this is the one he made his debut in, but this is the one he's gonna set all these new records in and everything. It's like, damn, okay, all right, I can see why.
They got you. They got
me. They got me with the wordplay there. But again, I'm not pulling it off. I can't pull it off. I think last season is better, but I gotta admit, it was a little better than expected there. Xavi, what about you?
I like them.
Yeah,
I'm easy to please though, so I like them. I thought they look good. I like them more if they start winning, in them. If they start winning with them. But I like the whole look. I like the change. I'm no big deal with the crest. Everybody's criticizing that.
I think
it's terrible.
I think he has one with the Guerrero on the back right now. He just
no. I put
already.
Xavier. They put Xavier on the back.
All right. Well, okay. So the game, like I said, didn't start off the way Inter Miami wanted, but what did we see in the second half, though? What was the big change? Like, what did you take away? Because there was a penalty, and then you see this. 2 minutes later, you have this incredible build-up and play just on David Ruiz by himself. Man, this Catracho is phenomenal doing this stuff there. Like,
he's rising.
He put everybody on. Yeah, his stock is rising. His skill is coming along. I know Xavi's been a big fan of him since he came on. I know him and Noah Allen and who was the dude that we traded to Montreal? No, the one that we traded to Montreal.
Bryce Duke was my guy.
The Duke of Las Olas. Yes, that was your boy. He was Xavi was big on those three guys. But Xavi, what did you think of David Ruiz's performance today?
I thought he's improving. He's showing improvement. We talked about it last week. Remember that he hasn't been making the big mistake, which is a silly foul or a silly turnover. He's been more consistent. He's been making the right play. He's different from Kremaski, like we said, when he played the one game that he was on. He made a presence. He would go ask for the ball. He wasn't just, I got it and give it back to Busquets or give it. No, he was trying to do things. And look at the wonderful, amazing goal that he scored. I mean,
that was a big league goal, bro.
The goal is on two guys. Takes out the first guy, makes the move, pushes the ball, and takes a rip. The moment wasn't too big for him. The place wasn't too big for him. And he did it. And what I like, he's showing his technique. He's showing some maturity. And he's rising. I asked today on Twitter, I said, which of the guys other than Messi and the Fantastics, because we know those 4 guys are,
it's a name in progress, by the way.
that's
Fabian.
something
We're not.
I'm going to trademark it.
He's
I'm gonna
sold on it,
trademark
but he's
I'm
sold
gonna
on
keep,
it. We're
I'm gonna
still
keep
iffy.
using
We're
it.
not.
I'm going to keep using it. Messi and the Fantastics. We know what they can offer, but the other lesser guys, like under the radar guys, who's going to step up? I think he's one of those guys. And when I said under the radar, is some of the guys that might not be starters, that might be second to third, and because of injuries or whatever, they're going to have to rise, and he's definitely going to be one of them.
Well, one of the guys who I feel like is going to have to rise out of the Messi and the Fantastics, or outside of that, is going to be.
Hey, let him. He likes it, dude.
Hey, it's gonna be,
fair enough.
I need to see more Campana. I mean, did you guys watch Suarez go after those long balls? Like, it was something like I was like, it was like he's gonna break his knee doing that, like. So I think if you have Messi and Suarez up top, I don't know if you could do those like long through balls and let Suarez go get the ball. Like, then you don't want to have Suarez so far away from the ball. I don't know. It's something that Tata really has to look into, because you put Campana and Suarez at the top, you have to have Messi move back, but then Messi has to press. And I don't think Messi's going to press. Or you tell Campana and Messi to switch on defense, like, hey, like Campana, you play farther back, you're going to press for Messi, so he doesn't have to. But it's something to really think about, because they need a runner. Like, Inter Miami needs a runner, and they don't really have one, in my opinion, up top with Suarez and Messi, because unfortunately they shouldn't have to press and run, to be honest. But I mean, if you look at Uruguay's team, Suarez always had a runner with him. Cavani presses like maybe the best presser in the world, to be honest. So he always had that running mate. I think he's gonna need that in Miami again, because he's not gonna be able to go after those balls the way he is. And that's not how you want to use those legs too. I don't think it's even worth his time to even have him running after those balls and then doing a cross in, because I don't think that's his best trade either.
No. By the way,
put more miles on those.
Right. By the way, Campana has one of the best nicknames, Campapi. That is still it's very well fitting.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
You can't beat that one. That one's a good one. I agree. I think I would love for him to take that next step. Like, you saw flashes of it the season before last, and then Joseph Martinez came in last season and was like, we were forced to try to play Joseph, and it kind of like stunted this guy's growth and development a little bit. But this is the season, man. This is the year for Campapi to really make that next step and be that guy.
He's stepped up in big moments. Like we saw it in Leagues Cup, him scoring big goals, game-winning goals, things like that. So, and U.S. Open Cup as well. Yeah. He steps up in big moments. So that guy, man, they got to use him correctly. Yeah,
the first hat trick for Inter Miami, I believe, was him too. That was a couple seasons ago.
My whole thing too is they don't really have an aerial threat without him on the field. So like, if you have one of the best players in the world that can cross in a good ball from anywhere, why not have your aerial threat in there from the first minute, right? So I don't know. I think you need to find a way to get Campana on the field. And I know a lot of people like David Reese, but it's like it's the easiest person to kind of say, okay, like come on at halftime or do something. But I don't know. I think David Reese had a great game today, but I just think having an aerial threat with Campana and then also having a player who can run in behind the defense and actually run and provide you a little bit of stretching of that back line, I think is going to give more space to Messi and to Suarez, because until they have more space, they were getting offsides all the time. So it's like they really didn't worry about Suarez beating them because they already knew Suarez wasn't that fast. So they kind of pressed this, really high line, and they got offside. They did the offside trap like maybe 4 or 5 times because they understood if Suarez gets past them, they're going to catch him.
Yeah, I think everybody in Miami is like just keeps telling themselves like, all right, Suarez led the Brazilian league in goals. He did. Like, we keep telling ourselves that he was really great last year because we don't want to see that decline and that that fall that event, and it's going to happen at some point. I mean, he's what, 37, I think now.
Yeah, just turned 37.
He's a young 37. That's what I like to say. But it's still, he's gonna end up, running off that cliff one day. Hopefully, it's not this season. But I agree. I think Campana needs to be that guy. I'd rather have Ruiz come off the bench. I think I'm also the hater on the team. I don't like the young guys as much as other people. I think experience goes a long way.
What's his nickname?
Starfucker. I like the big names. I like that kind of experience in this squad, and I think it's very important, especially when you have this, Messi and the Fantastics, like like this guy likes to call it. I did props to Ruiz. One cool thing that I saw is when they were coming out of halftime through the tunnel, him and Jordi Alba were talking, and Jordi Alba was covering his face and telling him, and you could see he was being very receptive to like that's kind of cool. Like, here you go, you got this guy, a legend in Barcelona, talking to you. I mean, just telling you some stuff, and then you come out and right away you score a goal. Like, all right, yeah, that guy did whatever he said. Yeah.
And then the shot of him celebrating is him hugging Alba and Messi, like the three of them hugging.
Dude.
Come on,
those
that's
kids
insane,
are living.
bro.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, that kid's living his best life.
I also think my beef against the young guys is actual, like, just pure jealousy, because they're 19 years old and hanging out with Messi and these stars, and I'm here like, hey, trying to get a glimpse of them as they walk by. So,
well, I mean, they're gonna have so many games in Miami. I mean, you just need to find a way to get the most talent on your field, and I don't think there's gonna be problem finding minutes for guys like Ruiz. I think Ruiz is gonna have a big role anyway. If he's not starting, he's gonna be in every game. That's for sure.
Yeah, they said on the broadcast, I think they mentioned it was something like Inter Miami could potentially play, if every series goes like the distance or something, like up to 60 games this season.
Wow, crazy.
That's wild, man. That's a lot.
So there'll be plenty of opportunities for both Ruiz and Campapi for them to be important pieces in similar roles.
Well, how unlucky is Campapi that last year was he could have been his breakout year. First he gets hurt, but then they bring Joseph, right? An older star player. He takes his minutes. Yeah. Now Joseph's gone. And what happens? They bring another older star player to take his minutes, and he's there again. But this is his season, regardless. As a super sub, as whatever, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, he has to perform the season. He has to perform the season.
And I don't think he's the type of player to really get mad about that, because he gave away his 9 to Suarez, right? And he wore number 8. So I do think Campana is a player that can take the backseat and not get too offended by it.
But I also don't want him to be like that easy going either. You got to have that competitive.
You better get pissed. Like, here's the jersey. Here's the jersey.
Yeah, the jersey.
I mean, we're talking about one of the best 9s of the last generation.
I get it. But still, like, you just keep the chip on your shoulder. Don't be like, cruising and caking it just because you're on the team with all the stars.
He needs to step up. He needs to step up.
We got to see that. But we're talking about this extended season and minutes for everybody, but you need depth. You got to have people to play those minutes. And right now, I think the consensus is we don't have enough. I don't think we have a big hole in our defense. We don't have that. And Ferrer, what's the new cat's name from?
Yeah,
Ferrer, right?
Ferrer.
Yeah, he's traveling with the team, but he's not ready to play yet. Today, Pops takes the knock on the head, and he's got to get out of the game for a little bit. And your boy Xavi McVey comes in, and he starts getting some minutes again. But McVey's a guy who he started a bunch of games for us in the past, but then lost his position, lost his confidence, hasn't been able to win it back, and that's what we're counting on for depth right now. We really don't have it. They had Noah Allen playing as a center back today, which I was like, okay, that's another 19-year-old kid there. You know what I mean?
You're missing two guys that are coming back from serious injuries in Frey and what's his name? The Negri.
Ian Frey. Oh,
yeah, Ian Frey and Negri. I mean, those are two, a center back and a left back. That those two players, if they were playing now, if they were in mid-season form or whatever, I think they make a big difference. I think the defense is different. I think the defense is not.
When can we expect to see those guys?
They're still a few months away, man.
Yeah,
they're still months away.
And that's the scary part, because the season starts soon, and we can fall in a hole early, and a few
like they tend to do every season.
Yeah, unlike last season, Phil got us at 2-0. And then we were gonna win the whole league after that, and then we ended up losing like 5 in a row. But
look,
you beat Philly in the beginning of the season.
That was a huge win, bro.
But honestly, I think the biggest takeaway of that game wasn't if you're an Inter Miami fan or an Inter Miami player. I think if you're an MLS owner watching that game, you're pretty mad at yourself. I think you're pretty mad at yourself for not allowing the 4th DP or changing the rules this year, because they all voted on keeping it the same. So. Yes, MLS is going to look bad. We're going to look like the lesser league compared to Saudi, because deservedly so. We got beat. We got beat by a team that has I don't want to say it, but like probably like 9 or 10 DPs, right? So it's something where it's like you want to compete on the international stage, you want to put your best players up against, big clubs in other countries, and you want to make it worth something. Well, loosen it up a bit. Make it so that the teams can make that decision if they want to go ahead and get that 4th DP, or even let them have 3 DPs and then just have the U22 initiatives as a separate thing, or a young DP as a separate thing. Because right now there's a lot of clubs around the league that are just doing 2 DPs, so they can do the Inter Miami way of young DPs and U22 initiative players. So I don't know. I just think if you're an MLS owner, you're kind of kicking yourself right now. You're like, dude, like even our best team that has a $70 million payroll is nothing compared to this Saudi Arabian team that doesn't even have their best player out there, that has a payroll of $270 million. So it's like, I mean, look at a team like the San Jose Earthquakes with the payroll probably around 10 million, 15 million. They're getting dwarfed by 25 times, So it's, I mean, guys, we all want to say MLS is an advancing league, but I mean, if the owners aren't going to change their ways and try to open up these, rules, I truly think we're going to stay behind, and we're going to stay behind other leagues that are coming up too. So, a missed opportunity at the beginning of the season to add a 4th DP or change the rules, and I hope this one stung a little bit for a lot of owners around the league.
I think their problem is the same as we were talking about in the production value. Saudi Arabia, they don't care about throwing money at everything and taking a loss, whereas MLS owners, they do care about taking a loss financially. You know what I mean? That they're not in this business to show off. They're here to make money. Yeah, they treat it like they're toys sometimes. Franchise owners, but they still want to make money on this at the end of the day.
This is my tinfoil hat, but like,
I
think personally, a lot of owners that own other enterprises in the United States, so like Kroenke, Fisher, who owns the A's, the Oakland A's, or the Las Vegas A's now, Robert Kraft. I think a lot of those guys will always view their MLS team as something lesser than NFL, and I don't think that's going to be able to grow the league where it wants to be. You got a guy like Jorge Mas and David Beckham, where it's like, this is our team, this is our only team. All the money we can into it because this is our only enterprise. Other guys who, have other teams and other things, they see it as an investment, and they don't want their investment to be too potentially sporadic. They want something that just gradually grows. And at this point in time, after, I know this might be a little bit of an over exaggeration, we're kind of getting left behind by leagues around the league, or leagues around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, can't disagree with that, man.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, Saudi Arabia literally showed us the most beautiful stadium, most beautiful angles. They had a team that has a lot of talent that's not from their home country, but they're paying them well, and they're in their prime. They're not. I mean, yes, they have older players, but they also have players that aren't so far out of their prime, or maybe still in them, right? So I don't know. I mean, you see those names and you're like, man, if they could have got them, I wish MLS could have got a couple of those guys. And again, we're gonna see the real big team next game, right? We're gonna see Al Nassr with, I mean, Sadio Mane is not playing, or maybe, who knows, right? Because they just got eliminated, right? So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. I just think this is gonna be not a good look for MLS if Ronaldo scores 6 on the second string Miami guys, right? So we'll see.
McVay.
No, Allen is great for MLS, but you're gonna have him going toe to toe with one of the best players the world's ever seen. So,
You gotta have
Yedlin. Have Yedlin shadow Ronaldo, because I'm pretty sure USA beat Portugal in a World Cup, or at least tied them or something once, right? That happened.
Maybe.
So, all these Inter Miami problems, or all the people that are talking about the Inter Miami defense, how bad it is. It's bad to other teams around the world. And this is kind of a good measuring stick for them to be in CONCACAF Champions, or for them to be in like the Club World Cup. If they want to compete in those, they're going to have to spend. And it sucks because they're going to have to wait on the league to change the rules so they can get a better roster. So I don't know. I really thought that the league not changing the rules this year is really a missed opportunity.
100% on that, but I feel like we can you can have that same similar problem about missed opportunities with a lot of stuff with MLS. It feels like there's always like because you're preaching to the choir here of pro rel. We've been advocates because we.
Whoa! I didn't say that. Hold on.
I'm not saying you said it, but Gus and I, we got our start here in the lower divisions, covering lower division soccer. So we have we have a what's the word I'm looking for here, Gus? An
affection,
and affinity for lower division soccer here in the States. And we see the problems that we have with that there. You know what I mean? And the fact that
we literally saw Miami FC from the NASL get to the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup, I think.
It was quarterfinals going into the semifinals. Yeah, but they made their run, and they beat Orlando City. They beat Atlanta United in their run up there. So we've seen that. You had missed opportunities there. Now with this whole 4th DP thing as well, it just feels like it doesn't feel like the best interests are there. It's just, like Gus said, it's all financial interest. How can they make more money without losing any? So.
Look, I think Pro Rel is hard. I really do. I think it's hard to sell a new expansion club to an owner if they can lose an investment of $250 million. So, yes, everybody loves Pro Rel. If you are a fan of soccer, you love Pro Rel. Okay, let's be completely honest here. But is that feasible in the United States? Is it possible in the United States? That's
bro, I got you, bro. I got you. All right. So we've had this discussion, and I'm glad that you bring it up this way. But no, you absolutely can, dude. There's been plenty of models that have been shown that where you have a ramp up to Pro Rel, where it's not just like, hey, next season, if you're in the bottom 3, you're out. In the top 3, you're in. No, you can make it where there's a ramp up. There's a couple of years, 2 to 3 years, where you give not only the teams in the MLS the time to figure it out and maybe get in that 4th DP and have it be a little bit more competitive on the top flight side, but you also give those teams on the lower side. You make it that they have to hit certain standards to make it into top flight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like there has to be a stadium capacity issue. So you can't have as great as the story would be for like some, tiny team playing in a field somewhere in Birmingham, Alabama or something, making it all the way. No, like you have to have some financial structure to it. And there's actually not that many teams in lower division that could be potentially a full MLS team. There's not many of them. So you can have it where those teams that do meet that minimum qualification could be the ones competing with it. And then you just create an incentive for everybody, and everybody would win because you're giving that opportunity. It's also the familiarity that the fans, because there's a lot of international fans, not just from South America, but from Europe and everywhere else that are used to Pro Rel, that look at MLS and are like, oh, what is this? Playoffs? What is this? I don't get this. Your first place? Who's in last place? You mean there's no penalty for being the worst team in the league? Like, you have to have something, and I think it can be made. There, like I said, there's other examples that have been shown, but I really do believe you could have it where there's just a minimum standard that has to be met by the lower division teams to get into it, and if they don't, then they don't move up, and a team doesn't move down. But it could happen, and it would be very, very cool because there are some really, really cool teams with some great fan bases in lower division soccer.
So 2 things have to happen. I agree with you, 100%. I agree with you. If they do it, that's the way. 100% I agree. But how do you sell that to the San Jose Earthquakes owner, right? How do you sell him to say yes? If you can't even sell a 4th DP to the ownership group, how are you supposed to sell Pro Rel? I mean, these guys are not even saying okay to a 4th DP because they're worried that other teams are going to spend more money than them. So how do you get these owners to agree? And then 2, I think MLS has to buy USL for that to happen. I actually think that MLS needs to buy USL or the whole soccer pyramid, and then make it all MLS Next Pro 1, 2, and 3. And then you kind of have a way of, everything's under one umbrella, and then you can think about it. But it's something where it's like, letting a USL team in, I don't think so.
It would be great because it would. You have to, like, eventually one day it'd be great to say that it happens.
They got to figure out the financials. They got to figure out the financials first.
That USL has, and with MLS and the US Open Cup, I don't see it happening.
No, I don't see it happening now because of, and honestly, the big reason why I don't see it happening now is these expansion fees for teams are ridiculous. It's like what, $500 million or something now if you want to have a team. And the fact that we have like 47 teams already in MLS and it's just going to continue to grow, like, it's just too big. It really is just it's at a point now where, to me, a few years ago, maybe we could have seen it happen, and we were really, proponents of it happening. But now it's just the league has just gotten too big with too many teams, and you're seeing it. Like the competition is watered down. You get some of these matchups that are unwatchable. You get the stigmas that all these other leagues give us, like, nobody cares about that league. It's not even on par with like Liga MX. So
maybe what they should do is instead of selling a franchise, because they still want to expand that thing up to 32. Maybe they need to make it all right. USL, whoever wins the league will get promoted, and obviously you have to pay the expansion fees and all that stuff. But maybe start out with just promotion, and then after that you can do relegation.
So that would be tough because let's say the Oakland Roots win. You think the Quakes want the Oakland Roots to be in? Like they're going to be like, that's our market, right? So,
Miami FC in Miami,
right? So it's like, and especially for territorial rights too, for homegrowns, that's a big deal too. Because then how do you split up Oakland from San Jose out here in the Bay, right? That's like the same area, right? So it's something where territorial rights come into play too, and I actually kind of like the expansion fee because then you get the real contenders. You get the real teams that want to spend a lot of money. You don't get the not the Oakland A's, the San Jose Earthquakes again. You don't get, the Colorado Rapids right now, they're spending a lot of money, but you don't get those clubs that kind of just linger around making money off of Inter Miami coming to town, So it's something where it's like, shoot, it's hard to say these teams that don't spend.
I will say these expansion teams that have been popping up have been looking more like they're really invested. You have your Austins, your Charlottes, Inter Miami, although
St. Louis last season.
St. Louis, great example. They are, like you said, they are coming in with like something to prove and some skin in the game. But
I would even say
I just think there's too many San Jose Earthquakes and there's too many of these other teams, you know what I mean, that are not doing anything. They're just getting a free ride and it's just watering it down for everybody, man.
I would even say Orlando City from when they started too, NYCFC from when they started, they've shown a lot. Those two teams have shown a lot more ambitious than the original teams, in my opinion, in the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, maybe we got to contract some of these teams. Maybe that's what it is, bro. What is it? We got to give them the Miami Fusion and Tampa Bay Mutiny treatment. Just eliminate and make them see what it feels like. I have to wait 20 years to get another team again, like we had to. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what? I like the pro rel talk. I wasn't expecting that tonight. That's always a nice plus for me here. But again, we have our sensibilities towards it because of our experience in it. But real talk, I don't see it happening anytime soon. There was a moment there a few years ago where it felt like, man, maybe it could be pushed, but now it's honestly, it's the addition of Messi has just blown it out of the water. Now it's just,
I could see MLS Next Pro having a pro rel faster than MLS. Because they're really, really trying to pump up those MLS Next Pro teams in areas of where there's no MLS team. So I think there's already 2 new teams coming and possibly 2 more, right? So that's like going to be 4 teams in the next 3 years. So it's something where I could see that, really expanding really fast and having a pro rel to have the people be like, all right, well, we do have pro rel, So like, if you want pro rel, watch our developmental league, So it's like.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, again, I don't see it happening, but it's nice to dream and it's nice to think about, But we got to stop these Quakes, bro. I'm blaming you, Fabian. You're definitely at fault for a lot of this here because you guys are condoning this over there and not standing up and saying, hey, we need to be better. We can't be this, selling Kate Cowell and sending them out to Chivas. What do you guys have over there now?
Christian Espinoza is one of the best wingers in the league, I would say. But he's going to need help. Jeremy Bobasi had a good couple of years here too. He's a good MLS striker. But yeah, like you said, I mean, what do we have over here? Is the real kind of snapshot look of what's going on here, right? Like what's going on here. The biggest thing is the Las Vegas A's are a thing now, and that's the same ownership. MLS wants a team in Las Vegas. It's no secret of that, or some people want that, so what happens? Do we have another Save the Crew situation where the Quakes owner wants to move another team to Las Vegas, or do we sell the Earthquakes to another team, another owner in the area? Like Joe Lacob, I know the owner of the Warriors was interested in possibly buying the team sometime in the last 5 years. So we'll see what happens with that organization, but it'll be a fun year. They have a nice little retro jersey coming to throw homage to the 1974 Quakes. So that should be good.
I saw the leaks. I think Orlando has a retro jersey too from their USL days that are coming out, which I'm very happy to see some throwback to NASL and these older leagues, But man, so wait, are you telling me that Earthquakes could possibly have been rumored to move again, like losing a team for a second time? Like
I don't think there's anything concrete because they're building a fairgrounds out here. But at the end of the day, Fisher is a businessman, and he's no different from Precourt. I mean, he's probably going to be in Las Vegas seeing the A's numbers shoot through the roof. And I think there's going to be a conversation to be had, especially with Vegas becoming an entertainment capital of the United States. So why not have both of your investments in somewhere where you could easily sell out every game, because all the hotels are just going to buy club seats for anybody that wants them, right? So a lot of those seats are going to go unpurchased, but they're still sold, right? So, or excuse me, they're not going to be unfilled, but they're still sold, right? So it's going to happen with the A's. Watch, the A's are going to have a sellout, or maybe not a sellout, but maybe 20,000 a game compared to their 2,000 they were having in Oakland, where it's like, it's a no-brainer. That's why, it's very unfortunate for the Oakland A's, but I can definitely see why they moved them to Vegas. You're just going to have people buying box seats and tickets for customers that might not even show up, right? So we'll see.
But losing a team twice, that would be tough for you guys.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope not. I hope not. But I
don't think they would lose them. But I mean, they built the stadium in mind with offices nearby to kind of, so they can charge a high price for their office buildings. So you can say so Fisher owns all the land around the Earthquakes, right? He built the stadium, and then basically they made a whole bunch of office buildings around it, and they rented it out to like Roku and Yahoo. But they can charge a premium for that office kind of building because they're right next to a stadium, right? It's an amenity. So he's like finding ways to kind of, make money on everything almost and make it all together. So it's almost like an investment more than a fan-run club or a passion project. So if he could do it to the Oakland A's, which literally is one of the biggest brand names of baseball. I mean, I lived in Japan for a while. I saw Oakland A's hats out there, right? If he could do it to one of the best brands in baseball, what makes you think he can't do it to the Quakes, right? So.
No, you're absolutely right, but damn, what a casual little drop there. I lived in Japan for a while. Damn, okay, that's cool. Fun fact there. We didn't know that about Favian.
That's where I started. Yeah, I started kind of being a journalist from Japan. I would wake up at 3 a.m. to talk to Matias Almeida. So.
Oh man, okay, no idea that was. Well, you got to tell us more about that later. But funny enough, we used to know a guy that played for the Quakes, the goalie Daniel Vega, a couple seasons ago. Yeah, he was from Miami FC. That's where he came from.
Cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, he was always a great dude to us, man. Very, very cool dude. Loves to play the drums. That's what I remember about old Daniel Vega, man. El Indio from Argentina. He was a good dude.
He's now on the training staff for AEK, and they're winning all the trophies out there. So
yeah. I still keep up with him on social media, man. He's having a good time out there in Greece, man. So all right, let's start wrapping it up here a little bit. Let's go back to Inter Miami here. I know we had a nice discussion here about Pro Rel and everything else, but we got the game, like we said. We're going up against Ronaldo. Do we feel confident that this last dance is going to happen? I mean, I know there's some worries about this guy's his knee or something that he hurt, Ronaldo, and
I think Ronaldo even touches the field if he's injured. I really do. I think I think he's gonna play. I think he's gonna play. They're gonna shoot him up with whatever out there in Saudi Arabia. That's he's gonna play. All right. So maybe shoot him up an extra $5 million.
Nice.
He put up an Instagram picture. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. He's like in a sauna, and he's, like he always likes to be showing off his six-pack. And
if I look like that.
and he's there smiling. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be there, man.
Wait, whose Instagram? Was that mine? No, I was kidding.
I like it. Man, all right. Well, I'm hoping we get that. It'd be nice to see a proper. And can we finally say that if it does happen, this will be the last time it happens, right? Like,
not if Messi loses,
I don't think so.
Or not if they got a tie, because if Ronaldo loses, he's gonna want another one. If Messi loses,
think so? You think?
No. I don't think they'll have another one.
Yeah, there's a possibility, but I don't think so. I think they're both gonna be with their same teams, and they're gonna do it again next year, right?
It's all about the money, depending how
Ronaldo comes to Miami next season for the preseason. You think something like that?
Do a home and away.
Ooh.
I just think
That'd be
there's too
something.
much money in Saudi Arabia to not do it there. And
Yeah.
what they showed us today with all the camera angles and everything, let's do it there.
Yeah, that is cool. And I don't mind the 1 o'clock afternoon. You know, it's actually not bad, and not getting rained out at Drive Pink Stadium like we've been plenty of times. You know,
With the Hong Kong game, it's going to be like at 1 a.m. or 12 a.m. for me at night. So I'm like, let's go to the bar and watch it, you know. But then that's a whole other struggle, right? Where I got to tell the bar owner, no, you have Apple TV? All right, no? Okay, let me AirPlay this real quick for the whole bar. Let me just AirPlay it, all right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Xavi, let me ask you here before we wrap up here. We've talked about the deficiencies that we have with Inter Miami and our worries here. You know, we know what's upcoming here, but we keep circling back to this defense, this back line here. Is there anybody that you think maybe Inter Miami should go after or have their eye on, or do you think this is it? This is what we have on defense, and this is what we're going to roll into the season with?
I think they have to look at the finances. I think that's the main reason. The books, you know, how they're going to make it work. They have to get rid of players to bring in players. We were talking about Stefanelli. He's still here, probably because of Faria's injury. But it's not that simple. And if I have someone in particular, no, like last show, I would love for them to look for a young, between maybe 22 to 28 experienced player, South America, Europe. If you're looking at the rest of the league, a lot of the MLS teams have brought in young center backs and brought in some experienced center backs from Europe. You know, Inter Miami could do the same, but they went out and got Ferrer. Let's call him Ferry.
Yeah, bro.
Well, put a Ferry up or something. Let's see what he brings. You know, he was in Pumas, Olympiacos. He was injured over there. You look at his highlights. He's strong in the air, big, strong guy, lefty. But I think they need another. They need that star power at center back. They need someone like you like Starfugger.
Oh.
Someone that.
I got someone in mind for you. Great left-footed center back. He played in the league. He's an international. His name is Kamal Miller.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
He
was terrible.
You already had it. How are you going to bring in a player that's not to the capacity of Kamal Miller? Like that was.
Well, we got to see. I actually expected more from Miller from last season. I think he was a little bit inconsistent. I think he had games where he was the best player on the field, and he had games where he looked like he didn't belong on the field. It's like, what's going on, Kamal? So,
and that's a problem. You can't have that much up and down in a position of that. But I'd rather you just be mediocre and good than just these peaks and valleys that he was giving us last season.
They don't have that big dog in the back, and that's what we're waiting for.
We joked about it. We joked about it last week, man. These Barcelona guys got to start calling some of their old boys up. You know, anybody who's just sitting out there, there's Sergio Ramos, Carlos Puyol, whoever, anybody that could still put on some cleats and come out there. But let me ask you,
here's the name, right? Suarez needs to just call Godin. I mean, Godin's retired maybe 6 months, right? So give him the Stefanelli way.
You might be onto something.
I like
it. On you, bro.
I gotta make a call maybe because Godin's actually my cousin through marriage, so I gotta be like, hey, what's up?
No, you could be his agent, right? Just because you have family affiliation, you don't have to have the FIFA license. No, I'm not.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
You can do it, brother.
All right.
It all started here.
Let me get David Beckham's number real quick, or Henderson's number. Somebody.
We get Hendo. We can make it work. We can get Hendo's number.
My whole thing is like, you have a guy like Robert Taylor who you're not really gonna use. Like, let's be honest. He brought in Gressel. You're not going to use Robert Taylor. Very similar build. Trade him away to a team that could use Robert Taylor.
He's a fan favorite, man. He's a fan favorite.
I understand that, but
he's played every position. The only position he hasn't played for Inter Miami is goalie.
But they chose Gressel over him, so I was just like, all right.
Well, Gressel's more of a wing back as far as as an actual winger.
I don't think so.
A good thing.
As what I've saw lately. Taylor with Messi looked like Di Maria. Gressel's not looking like anything, to be honest.
Well,
he's just looking like Maria.
3 games in. Yeah, just looking like a Maria, not a Di Maria. But let me ask you, Xavi. What about our Colombian roots here, Xavi? What about where's Jetty Mead playing right now, bro? Where's Davison Sanchez?
You're mentioning some of the guys. There are some young, and that's a good place to go. There are some young center backs in Colombia that are inexpensive. That's a good place to look. That is a good place to look. Why haven't they? I'm not sure. But Mina is where is he at now? Fiorentina. He's in Italy.
Fiorentina.
And then
He's in his late 20s. And
technically,
so
he's a
Davinson
former
Sanchez.
Barcelona player also.
Yeah, that's right. He's a former Barcelona guy.
Very brief stay there. But Mosquera, that was I believe was in Cincinnati. He went to Sevilla. He played an amazing game against Atletico Madrid.
Man.
Just this week, and they won the game. There are some nice young, but not just in Colombia. You can go to Peru. You can go in Uruguay. It might be a little more expensive. In Argentina, it might be a little more expensive. Brazil, definitely more expensive. But there are Chile, Paraguay has excellent defenders. I mean, if they want to, if you look for it, you can find one. Do I have a particular name? No, but I have a Godin friend here we can get him to sign for 6 months.
There we go. We got to follow up on that. Godin
This is an exclusive right here. I'm going to tweet this out right now. I'm going to put Renkel is bringing Godin to Inter Miami.
There you go. Nice.
Hey, he's only like 6 months removed from retiring, right?
He'll step in right now. No, he'll step in right now.
Oh, he'd step in right now and he'd be CB1 right off the bat.
For sure.
He'll be Cellini.
Yeah.
You come in, give me a good year, talk to my center backs, teach them, show them the ways of
the Chiellini reference is actually really good because it's not just to come in and be the guy that we count on. It's just I think they just need a little experience back there and someone to talk to. I know Jordy's doing that on the wings, you know what I mean? But if you got a guy
he's up and down.
There,
he's up and down.
Yeah, and you saw what Chiellini's effect had on LAFC. They got him a chip, went to another final, and now he's he's working for the team now as player development. I don't know what, some type of front office position. So, hey, Godin, that could be a nice guy there. It's nice to wishful thinking.
Look into that.
Yeah, bro.
Let me just send a message real quick. I don't have any connections, but
until it happens, every time Miami loses on a defensive mistake.
Yeah. Just get the yes from him and we'll work on the rest. Don't worry.
Yeah, Tommy knows the guys over there.
I don't know about that, but
Chavi's friends with Higuain, so talk to him, bro.
He calls me Xavi.
That's where we get the Chavi from. He's like Chavi. So, but all right. Well, I think we're at a good point here. We're getting close to the hour here. I don't want to go too much longer here, so let's just wrap it up here. I want to thank Fabian for hanging out with us tonight, man. It's been fun to really dive in. I really, really enjoyed the Pro Rel stuff just to get a different perspective on it because it's usually Gus and I talking about it, and we always agree. And it's like, all right, man, we need to talk to somebody else. So on that front, it's nice and very much appreciated. Chavi, thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a really good time here, Fabian. The door's always open anytime you want to come back on here, hang out with us, talk. If you want to dive into your other favorite sport, the San Francisco 49ers, we do a football podcast on Wednesdays. So
look, I can tell you the snap shares of what Brandon Ayuk gets or so like I do know so
yes,
I know a little too much. That's why I kind of like don't like the fanfare, so
that's right, because we get that
Sirius XM in the morning all day, like, oh, what was the snap count on this guy? Well, he had 56 out of 75 snaps. What's up? I'm a little too crazy about fantasy football because there's a lot of bragging rights. But when it comes to watching a game that doesn't have fantasy football, like, is it really?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So, but again, thanks a lot for hanging out, man. Remember, you can follow Favian at Favian Renkel on pretty much all your social. I think I am Favian, right?
Yeah, on Instagram. Yep.
So make sure to give him a follow. Thanks again for hanging. and hang out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stick around here. We're gonna wrap up here, but I gotta ask you some questions here. But for everybody watching, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll be back next week. Adios, muchachos.